Hey guys, Failcore here, and I'm gonna go over the new units and the new leaders in this video, and give my thoughts on them. Let me know what you think at the end of the video. Leave it in the comments. So we got Rey and we got Kylo, some guys from the new trilogy. First, we'll start out with Rey. First of all, about Rey is I think she is probably the strongest leader that they have ever come out with, and is incredibly good. First of all, she can deflect blaster fire, so basically like Luke. It takes a little bit longer than what Luke does, but she still does it. Her stats are okay. They're like your average melee hero. I think it's about the same as GI, I think, for health and DPS. But that's alright, like that's all fine. And where she gets really strong is in her passive, where she recovers 2% of her max health if no actions are taken for 3 seconds. So she sits there and she recovers health. I think it's basically like 2% every second. It's what it kind of seems like. It's hard to really tell because it's so little in like amount of time, but it's really nice, especially with the new energy stuff for dying. So it's really hard for her to actually get low and die. Next up, she also has Mind Trick, where it's her special ability. It's basically Kenobi on a stick. It's 40 seconds, and you can take over enemy organic units, and they are yours. So there's that, which is really strong. You can see it here. Just basically her melee attacks. I think she's got a little bit of an AoE one on the end. See the X. There's the Kenobi. You just take him over, and those troops. You also see the heal thing at the end here. Just that. Up next, we got a unique, which I don't actually think is that great. It's the Millennium Falcon for 5 energy. It seems really good. It does tons of damage. Damage isn't well, it does a fair amount of damage. It stuns tech and organic for 2.2 seconds. And it's basically like a bomber range of effect. However, the problem with the Millennium Falcon is the new TIE Fighter. And it's an X-Wing, not a TIE Fighter, I'm sorry. I always get those mixed up. But, as you can see, this is level 8. And it does 933 damage and 373 damage to structures. And it has a massive range. Like, check this out. You see there's just huge range on this thing. So, I was talking to a lot of people, and like Penango and stuff. I thought the Millennium Falcon would be good because of the stun. But the more you think about it, like, why would you want to stun something when you can just wipe stuff off the map? Like, at even levels, this has 933, and like some of the tankiest things on Empire is the B2 battle droids that you'll see, and they at equal levels, it basically has 15 health left after the bomber or fighter X-wing, I guess. It feels more like a bomber than just a normal X-wing. So it's one of those things. Would you rather stun something or just wipe it off the face of the map? They're both 5 energy. This is longer. The only thing this has is stun. So if you like to stun, you can use this, but it's also a lot easier to get these, I think, as well. So I think Rey is super strong. Even, like, she doesn't even need a unique, and she's really, really strong. Next up, we got this monkey dude. Throws grenades. The Resistance Grenadier. He kind of acts like the normal Grenadier. He throws grenades. However, his grenades stun tech units and enemy towers. So it stuns them basically for 2.2 seconds. Level 4. Continuously while he's throwing them. Some people were complaining about this and saying he's super good, he's super OP, he's going to screw over everybody. However, there's one really big downside to this guy, and it's his health. He has super low health, 382 for 5 energy. So, if you compare it to, like, say, if you have a TIE Fighter coming in, kind of around the same levels, it does 294 compared to his 382, which is going to be even more exacerbated with, like, normal levels in ranked. So basically, he's just too squishy to actually be useful, especially for 5 energy, because there's so many things that can just deal with him, and you either come out equal in energy or just above, and he ends up not doing enough. Like you could, it's basically the same thing as Millennium Falcon, right? It's like you can stun them for 5 energy, or you can just wipe them off the face of the map. Next up, we have Resistance Medic, who I think is really bad, even worse than the Monkey Dude. Think of like the turret repairs, and then for organics. It's basically, I guess it can help you heal up leaders, sorry. It's probably only going to be used on Cassian. Just because Cassian can actually take advantage of it, you know, like run up, snipes, to take a little bit of damage, come back, get healed. Everybody else is probably not going to be using it. One of the big downfalls for her is that she chases all organic units, so if organic units is in turret range, she'll like run up. Like if you have a Wookiee, she's just gonna run up and try and heal the Wookiee, and then when the Wookiee dies in turret range, it's gonna just die. So you might get like an extra 1 or 2 shots, but I don't think it's worth it for spending 2 energy. Next up, we got the Resistance Troopers, who I think are actually pretty good. I don't think they're strong, but they're a little bit better than average. Anybody that uses Phoenix Squad right now are probably going to love these guys. I'm not high on Phoenix Squad, so I'm not too high on these guys, but they're basically a little bit more durable and less DPS Pathfinders. Except you get an extra 2 of them. So there's 4 of them for 5 energy. They do a fair amount of DPS. They move decently okay. They got the same attack range as like Pathfinders and stuff. But it's basically, if you want, they're weak to AoE, so it's a little rough. If you can protect them against that, they're really good. Because they do a fair amount of damage, and they can tank up a little bit. So it's like Pathfinders, right? So if you get TIE Fighter or something like that, or run up against a Sand Trooper, it ends up taking it out before they can get wiped out completely. So it's not too bad. But yeah, like I said, if you use Phoenix Squad, you're probably going to love these guys. Especially like Padme and Jin. I think Padme and Jin are going to adore these guys. And we already went over the X-Wing. Really strong. Switch over. Oh, I got to do this. The set bonus. The set bonus for resistance is really strong. Units take less damage, so it's kind of like if you're using resistance guys that take even less damage from AoE, so they end up being really good. The only setback for them right now is like half the cards for them are pretty trash. So like you can use these guys and the X-Wing, while you're probably not going to be using these 3 guys. So you're probably only going to get the set bonus of 4 right now. Maybe 5 if you pull off. But still, like 8% reduced damage is still a lot of damage you're not taking. Next up, we got the First Order. We'll go start off with their set bonus. It's basically non-factor. You basically respawn quicker, which is... It's one of those things you don't want to be dying that much anyways to take advantage of, but popping up quicker is okay. I just think it's the worst set bonus. Just because all the other ones are actually really good, and then this one's just meh. So we got Kylo Ren. Everybody knows I've been wanting to play this guy since the start. Ever since I saw Han, I was like, I need Kylo. I need Kylo. And I'm actually pretty, I really like how they did him. It's pretty sick. First up, he's basically, his main stats are kind of just like GI. He's a little worse than GI, just base up stats, but his passive and his skill where he makes up for big time. So, first up, his passive is he deals an extra 30% damage to things with movement and parrying effects. So, stun, nerf gas, scout troopers, pike trap, stuff like that. And then you also have his skill, which is on a 45-second cooldown. And you basically freeze enemies in place and deal 100% damage to them. So they take like 71 damage, which isn't much. But big thing is it renders them immobile for 4 seconds. Kind of think of like a box net, but they can't shoot at you. Like they're just stuck there. They don't do anything. Which helps out really big with his passive. And what I want you to keep an eye on is this rage attack power. which has to do with his unique. But his rage attack is actually on his main guy, not his unique. So we'll see that in a sec. But I'll just show you his attack stuff. It's just like normal attacks. There's a little AoE. Him and Ray kind of have the same deal. Just have a little AoE at the end. But here you can see everything's stopped, and he does massive damage to him. It doesn't work on tech units, however, so keep that in mind. It only works on organics. And then we'll get to his unique. So basically, you go into a rage. It's a support card, so it's kind of like Adrenal, but it only works for him. So you basically break free of a status effect. You do more damage, you take less damage, and then your attacks all do AoE. One of the big things for this, like I was saying earlier, his rage damage is actually on his leader. So it's not on here. So the only thing you ever get when you level this up is you get an extra 2 seconds on the duration. Decreased damage never goes up, and everything else is on Kylo. So you don't actually have to level this up too much, and you can just use it and still be really good. You can kind of see it here. He's stunned. You break out of it. Then he does a whole bunch of AoE. In the game, he actually has like a red mist around him, so you can tell that he is using his unique. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but I think the longer you see it, the more you kind of get used to it. But see, here's his rage attack power. So this goes up with him, which is pretty big. So you just want to level him up. All right, now get to the comments or the cards. Sorry. Start with the epics. First Order TIE Fighter. It's basically, it doesn't do as much damage as a TIE Fighter at level 1. So it, especially considering TIE Fighters scale way more than epics, it basically does negative damage. If you're expecting damage out of this, this is not the thing to use. The big thing is it stuns enemy tech units and it disables turrets. And it's not like, it's got a fairly long stun duration, but it's still, it's one of those things, like if you want to dive a tower, this is what you want, but even then, like Bomber may be even better because it pushes stuff out of the way and kills things, but maybe more with, if more tech units start coming out for Rebels and light side, it'd be used more, but right now it's kind of weak. Next up, we got the rares, the Flame Troopers. You kind of have to think about these guys as like kind of sand troopers in a sense. They're kind of squishy and they do AoE, but however for them, their AoE is a flamethrower. So the longer the unit's in it, the higher it's going to be. And they end up doing a fair amount of damage if you can keep them alive. They're really good against Banthas. They're going to fry Banthas like crazy. It's going to be insane. But however, you got to keep them away from AoE. So it's basically like your sand trooper. You're trying to protect it. So if you have a little finesse with these guys, they're going to be great. I really like them. I think you'll probably see them a fair amount. Next up, I'll go to the Stormtroopers first. First Order Stormtroopers. You get 6 of them, 4 energy. They're basically a little bit more stronger and a little bit more durable than normal Stormtroopers. I think they're average. Like, they're not bad, but they're not great. I can see them popping up in certain decks, especially like Thrawn, stuff like that. They still have problems that get wiped out by AoE. Especially for 4 energy, but they do a fair amount of DPS if you can get them on something and not have them die. But you guys all know Stormtroopers. That's just how they are. Next up, we got the First Order Riot Control Stormtroopers. So they're kind of like the Rebel ones where they have a shield, and you got to pop the shield first before you actually get to their health. These guys are really strong, really good. I don't think they're OP. Like, a lot of people are probably gonna, like, when they first see these guys, they're gonna think they're OP, way overpowered, need a nerf. Which, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they get a little DPS nerf, but they're still really good, even then. But basically what they are, they're tanks that kind of avoid airstrikes, which Empire really needed. Like, you kind of got to avoid X-Wing, Iron Mine, stuff like that. And just have something tanky. They end up moving really fast. They have 4.1 movement speed. They do decent damage. But I think for 5 energy, they're pretty good. Like, they're not super OP. You still need to have 5 energy. It's still being able to counter them pretty well for, like, 3 or 4 energy. it's just, they're kind of like Ahsoka, where if you just let them go on a tower, you're just going to lose your tower. So you kind of got to keep an eye out for them. One thing about these guys, though, is that the new X-Wing, like I said, it's kind of like an ion mine effect. So it does a little bit of damage each, like, second type thing. So it wipes these guys off the map. So, like, that's basically a straight counter to them. So we're going to play a little game, couple games to just show you guys how things work a little bit. So you can see some of the stuff in action. I will switch to Rebels after this and show that. Show a little, like, nuances that you can see, that you can't see and just looking at the cards. So you see the Stormtroopers like this die. So here, Dahmer does like 0 damage, as you can see, but it stuns that, so it doesn't actually do anything. Here are the Rise guys. They do, like, if you can see, tons of damage to this. You see Rey blocking there. But you can see how much damage these guys actually do to turrets. It's a little different here just because turrets are really weak in modes like this. So you can see how much damage I'm taking here. So I'll pop my ult, and you can see. And I'll pop my ability. So there, you can see how she freezes. And you can see how much damage she takes from it. It's just insane. Here's the flamethrower dudes. You can see their flame. I'll try and protect them so you can actually see how much damage they do. So there's the monkey dude. He didn't actually do it, but like you can see how squishy he is, how much damage those do. Flame guys. So yeah, there you can see the flames. Like, see how much damage those things do when they start charging up. And then I will show you what the TIE Fighter does. You can see it has like the chopper-like effect there. And we'll just watch the riot troopers go at it. So here, I'll show you. This doesn't actually work on tech units. See, I freeze it, but it doesn't actually do anything. I'll try and fright Rey, so you can see how much damage I'm going to be taking. And then you pop that, and then I barely take any damage after that. But that's basically Kylo. He looks like a lot of fun to play. And the First Order looks sweet. So we'll go back. And then we'll switch it up, and I can show you a little bit of Rey stuff. So I think I might have took out all my tech units, but you can see how quick he dies to stuff. I'll take a little bit of damage here. But see the Millennium Falcon? How it stuns those dudes. She also runs. I forgot to say that. Kylo dashes, Rey runs. I want to save this for when boost up the energy. But you can see her healing. So it kind of looks like 2 every second. 2%. We'll throw out the healer. So she has a little bar. You can see that when that depletes, she can't heal anymore, but it replenishes real quick. I'll show you her ability. Basically, Kenobi, see, it takes over everything. Pretty insane. Show you a little bit more of those flame guys. Like, see, they die pretty easily. Especially the resistant dudes. I'm hoping he's going to put down the riot troopers pretty quick. But you can see with the monkey, he ends up stunning the turret. Alright, does the same thing with tech. Okay, play Riot Troopers. There we go. So you can see this. They just get wiped out. Basically. Like, it breaks through their shield and stuff. So, yeah. That's basically her. But you can see that was getting stunned. You can see here. It stuns tech units. Oh, here we go. You can see the monkey. It stuns everything. It basically permanently stuns something unless you can actually kill it. But also you can see here, like, the X-Wing's range is so massive. And, again, you can see her ability, she just takes people over. And then, see, these guys are pretty durable. You just gotta be careful of AoE. But these are the new leaders, guys, new units. Hopefully this can help if you're on the fence about stuff. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. I'm always happy to take a look at them. If you got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Sometimes I'm also wrong. So you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'll try and point out my view a little bit better, or I'll change it. But overall, I think Rey is super OP, strongest hero they've had. Millennium Falcon is not very good. Monkey's not very good. Healer's not very good. These guys are actually decent. I'm not going to say they're strong, but they're pretty close. This is really good. This is definitely the best resistant card. Does tons of damage, does it over time. Gets rid of those pesky shields. You're probably going to see a lot of these. I already started seeing them pop up in like Hera decks, where it makes it really oppressive. It's hard to do anything. And I don't know, some decks aren't going to be able to use them just because it's 5 energy, it's high, but if you can afford the 5 energy cost, you're probably going to see him a fair bit. And then you got Kylo, who I think is pretty strong. I don't think he's that OP. People are probably going to disagree with me, but I think he's kind of like Anakin and Maul, where they have a certain playstyle, and if you let them play that playstyle, they're going to wreck you. But if you can get them off their game, then it's really hard for them to do anything. I like his unique. It's pretty sweet. Can get you out of tight spots real quick. And you don't really have to level it up that much, which is nice. I don't like the TIE Fighter. Like it does no damage. It does negative damage. Like the stun's nice, but it's kind of like the Millennium Falcon versus the X-Wing thing, right? It's like, do you want things to be stunned or do you just want to wipe them off the map? Flamethrower guys are pretty good. It's going to take a little work to get used to them, I think, and being able to place them in good spots where they won't die very easily, but I think they're going to end up being really good. Riot Troopers are really good. Do a fair amount of damage. Will do lots of damage. Really tanky, real fast. High cost, but, you know, you basically get what you pay for with these guys. It's really nice. And then the Stormtroopers, they're average. Like, I'm sure you'll see them around in some decks, and then other people are just going to ignore them. But they're still, like, better than a lot of Empire cards. Looking at you. Looking at you. So they're not too bad. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I will talk to you later. Have a good day.